The voice of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Welcome back to Durian ASEAN. You're with Grace.
And this is Arlene.
And of course, you are at the Durian Heat, and we've been speaking with Brian Fu from Gigfairy. And let's get on to our real business here.
Wow.
So, we've been talking about how this company has been providing opportunities for the bands to perform as well as to come up to meet the expectation from the clients as well. But creating more gig opportunities, Brian, how would you define it exactly with your company Gigfairy?
Right now, we're doing a lot of online marketing. As I mentioned earlier, musicians don't necessarily have the best business sense, and they don't necessarily have the time to market themselves.
Right.
So we market the platform as a whole, exposing these musicians to more opportunities, and it has turned out pretty well. We've got musicians who were playing for free, say something like 12 months ago, and who are now getting paid a lot just through Gigfairy.
I see. So the platform that you are setting is not just about matching different parties for the demand and supply. It's also providing an actual income for them, and that's a great thing.
Exactly.
What is the most popular genre?
Jazz, easily.
Because of the weddings, I suppose.
Yeah, because I guess most corporate events, they go for jazz because it's the kind of music where you hold a cocktail party too, and and like you mentioned, weddings.
I'm sure you have spoken to a lot of bands so far, especially after having this company Gigfairy. What are the common problems that bands are having, other than the financial problems?
Exposure.
But because in terms of exposure, right, nowadays a lot of indie bands are coming up, and the more platforms are provided, especially if you talk about the Kuala Lumpur here. But again, the exposure is another problem. So could you elaborate more on that?
Bands don't necessarily know how to make themselves easily found. Right? You can create a website. You can create a Facebook profile for your band, but that does not convert into exposure. You still need to drive people there. So that's where we come in, right? We build the profile, we've built the platform, right? And we are the ones driving traffic into the platform now. So that in turn converts into exposure for the bands.
That's a very interesting point, because for most of the time, when you have a really good band, they are only being exposed to very limited platforms, and when the platforms become saturated, they don't have any other places to go, because either they lack of connection or they don't know how to expand further than what the cliques or the group that they are in. So it becomes a problem. So Gigfairy actually breaks those barriers, those cliquish barriers. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, definitely.
So also Gigfairy will include different languages as well, is it?
Yep. That's right. So
from
we
Chinese, from Chinese, English, Malay as well.
So it becomes like a modeling agency. Like, what do you want? I want a Chinese band that has all male.
Yeah. We have gotten those kind of weird requests as well.
Weird requests. So Gigfairy purely plays on online platform, and of course, Brian, are you really techie when it comes to designing website and then programming certain features?
Absolutely not. I am a marketing guy through and through, but the current website was built by myself.
Oh, nice.
Because what failing at my first startup taught me was I had to validate the idea before dumping money into building a proper website.
Validate idea, like what are the risks that usually you would think twice before investing in it?
Whether people will use it or not. A lot of entrepreneurs these days, they believe that build it and people will come. It's not true. You can build it and no one will come. So if you're gonna do it that way, build it at minimal cost. Yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm a techie. No, the website was built with a website builder. So yeah.
So there are a lot of things that you had to learn before you have the website first. I've seen like few features that Gigfairy has, and it's quite easy to use. And I'm sure that also comes from your experience.
Yeah, definitely. We modeled ourselves a lot on Airbnb, right? Because of how simple it was to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it gets the job done. The website right now is extremely manual. The front end users won't see it. You know, you guys just see the website working that way. But in the back end, it's super manual. we're still dealing with emails and stuff like that. But having said that, the new website is currently being built. It will be fully automated. It'll make things way easier. I mean, it's pretty easy now, but we believe it can be better.
Well, having your own company, Brian, you also need to raise some funds and also work with the partners. How was your experience, basically?
The first thing I did when I started Gigfairy was I joined an accelerator. So I joined the Lead Ventures accelerator.
Organized by Magic?
No, not Magic. So these guys are a private accelerator. They call Lead Ventures 1337.
Yep.
And we took it from there. You know, I was put into the accelerator. I joined the pre-accelerator program.
Right.
So that's where they grow idea stage companies into actual products, but I joined with a product. I wasn't aware that it was idea stage.
I see.
Yeah, but I got in the accelerator through that program. We went on to raise 100,000 ringgit.
Oh wow!
In February last year. Yeah.
That's
February
very recent.
Yeah. The company was started in November 14. Yeah, so we raised funds through angel investors, and not long after, the company that recently acquired us came knocking. So it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting journey. It was a bit too fast for me, you know,
to digest everything at once.
You know, from starting a small little startup to now a corporation wants to step in and buy over the majority share.
So what are the evolution that you've been through, as in like in terms of your responsibility or the vision? Has it changed?
No. Not at all. It's just that now we have incredible support. You know, the teams behind us are super talented, super hungry. You know, it's a young bunch of people.
Right.
So we really want to take this to the next level.
Do you see that the future of Malaysia should be run by startups and not just, you know, multinational companies or GLCs?
I think we're starting to sort of see startups playing a bigger role. You know, you've got Grab, Be Malas, Be Lazy. I think it's just the way Malaysia works.
Right.
The exact same idea could work 10 times better in Singapore. We've spoken to a lot of startups that tried to come into Malaysia.
Right.
And they have found it incredibly difficult because we are just not responsive to this sort of super high-tech stuff.
Right.
Even though it's the whole point is to make your lives easier.
But then, Brian, you #made it so far by accelerating really fast. But having said that, how do you want to expand it?
Absolutely. We're just sort of fine-tuning the formula. I think we've got it okay right now. But once we get it properly done, we're going to expand into Singapore, Indonesia, and Philippines.
But how are the music band scenes like in Singapore, Indonesia, so far, based on your experience?
Based on my experience, I've only got personal experience in Singapore.
I see.
And it's really great over there. People are super talented, and the government are very supportive of the arts scene there. So yeah, a lot of festivals going on there as well.
So we are having this fun conversation with Brian Fu, CEO of Gigfairy. Don't go away. We have one more segment after this short break, so stay tuned.
You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.